Thank you to those of you who are joining our webinar this morning. Just waiting just another half a minute or so, just to give those who have signed up the chance to join from the start. Excellent, lovely to see you able to be here so promptly. So good morning all, and welcome to our USTEER webinar. I think most of you know me by name, if not by sight, but just in case not, I'm Claire Sargent, and I'm the USTEER Product Manager here at STEER. As you're all STEER schools, I know you'll be aware that we've been working on ways to help students gain an insight into their own steering with the introduction of our Take the Wheel report, and which a number of you are already using with your Year 11 students. To use our driving analogy, Take the Wheel is where students are learning to drive, enabling them to see how they've been steering over the years they've been taking their termly assessments, and sort of to discuss or review their route with their driving instructor or tutors. It acts as the perfect stepping stone for the USTEER course, which empowers sixth form students to understand the science of cognitive steering and take control of their emotional regulation, so setting them up for success at school and beyond. Just as they can drive independently once they've passed their driving test, the course aims to equip students with the soft skills to navigate life independently. What a great lifelong leaving gift to give your sixth form students. Take the Wheel is part of our PSHE module, and I'm so pleased that the USTEER course will also be part of this module from September and available to you as part of your existing package. So you can not only track your students throughout their time at school, but also give them a life skill to help them successfully navigate their social emotional road for themselves. Just to give you a brief reminder of the course, it's based on our model of the 4 steering biases, and it teaches students soft skills through an understanding of these biases. And via an app, they're provided with real-time personalized feedback about their current steering and how it changes in different contexts and relationships. And they're then able to set themselves targets to improve their steering and track their progress. So once they've developed self-awareness of how they're currently steering and discover how they can consciously choose to adjust these biases, which can improve their behaviors or alter their responses in different situations, i.e. learn how to self-regulate, students then go on to learn how these steering biases can generate 8 different influencing strategies, which can help them succeed in a range of school contexts. And the good news is that soft skills are not hardwired. They can be taught and improved by training, as the course demonstrates. Soft skills and the ability to steer are closely related. And so all the way through the course, as students develop their steering, the app is measuring their improvement of 3 key soft skills of grit, agency, and agility. The course has been designed as a fully resourced video-based course to minimize the amount of preparation, as we know how busy you all are. All the resources will be available to you via our Teacher Hub, and the app is available for download via the App Store or Google Play Store. The Teacher Hub is set up to not only give you access to all the lesson resources, but also guide you through how to set up the course to best fit within your timetable, support you with training requirements, and enable you to import student and staff details to set up app accounts. The course is made up of 3 pathways to be covered across Year 12, but could be done across Year 12 and 13 if it worked better for you. It's very flexible, and the modules can be scheduled at a time that works best for you. We'll set you up with access to the hub, and then you have control over setting up students and how you want to access the resources. Some schools choose to access them directly via the hub, others import them into their PSHE sections on their school intranet. Each pathway consists of 10 theory lessons and 10 practical sessions, making a total of 20 modules. The theory lessons have been designed to teach in a 40 to 50-minute lesson, where students are taught the psychology behind steering. And the practicals following each theory lesson are designed to fit 20, 25-minute sessions where students apply their learning using the app. All the lessons and practicals, they are adaptable. Some schools choose to deliver both the theory and the practical via their PSHE or life skills curriculum with classroom-sized groups for both theory and practicals, whereas other schools fitted into their sixth form programme with theory lessons delivered to a whole year group and practical sessions in smaller tutor groups. And I'd be really happy to discuss what might work best for your school. The total teaching time would be a maximum of 15 hours, with a pathway being completed each term during year 12, or perhaps 2 terms in year 12 and then 1 in year 13. Some schools have included it in their sixth form programme or PSHE curriculum for whole cohorts, whilst other schools have run it as an extracurricular activity which students sign up to. So again, the choice is yours. The first pathway introduces students to the basic concepts of steering, with a range of activities to teach students about the 4 steering biases, to help them understand the strengths and weaknesses of each bias position, and help them see how different positions correlate to different behaviours, which of course you're all already very familiar with. And there are lesson plans to guide you through every part of the video and all activities. During practical sessions, students use the app to take an initial baseline assessment and then take additional assessments to see how their steering changes in different relationships or contexts. And each time they receive personalised psychological feedback. By moving the sliders, they can and select tips, they can see suggested actions that they can then take to work towards and set themselves small targeted goals. So by the end of this pathway, students should have begun to understand how they can consciously steer their biases to alter their behaviours to be more effective or appropriate, depending on the context they find themselves in. In pathway 2, through a range of top sports, business and world leaders, students learn how they can change their steering to alter their behaviours, to create different forms of influence or leadership style. They discover how the most effective leaders are agile leaders, regularly adjusting their steering and adopting the right strategy for the right purpose at the right time. This can help with training of your students for different leadership roles in the school, perhaps as mentors, team captains, prefects, etc. So in pathway 2, they learn how to master and apply these influencing strategies, which are also useful in other school contexts, such as work experience, exams, and interviews. Students are given specific advice in their theory lessons to help them understand which bias positions they need to adopt to be as effective as possible in each situation. And I have an example here from the exams module of an exam-related advice sheet and the bias position that they should aim for in a range of situations. It illustrates times when a low or a high self-disclosure would be most appropriate. So students learn about the benefits of regularly adjusting their biases and the possible risks if they're always fixed in one position. And then in their practical sessions, they take assessments to see how their steering changes in each of these different contexts and set themselves targets to adjust their steering where necessary. So here, for example, within the context of exams, they can see how their biases differ from their baseline steering. So you can see 2 sets of bias positions on the sliders. So, for example, a student who has a lower self-disclosure when it comes to how they're feeling about their exams may want to set a target to work on reaching out for help more and can move the slider to increase self-disclosure from its current very low position to a healthier position, which you can see is described as disclosing, and then select a tip to set as a goal and which can then be reviewed at a later date. So the aim is to improve the student's ability to cope with the actual challenges of exams, pressure, revision, importance of reaching out for help, etc. So they ultimately improve their performance in these exams. And the course then does the same for interviews and work experience, alongside showing them how to master and use those 8 different influencing strategies. The final pathway enables students to develop and measure the 3 key soft skills to bring the best out of themselves and others and help with transitioning to higher education and succeeding in the workplace. As students use the USTEER app, it measures their progress in developing these 3 skills. So based on a student's engagement with the app, the algorithms will assign them a score and indicate where they are currently in comparison to other app users. So for example, in the top 30%. By completing the assessments and the targets that are set in practical sessions, student scores will reach the minimum assessment requirement, so no student would fail. However, for students to better develop their soft skills and achieve higher scores, they might want to be using the app outside of the sessions. At the end of the course, they'll receive USTEER certification to show proof of the set of skills they've developed. Being able to provide students with an objective measure of soft skill progress and a workplace qualification to include on their LinkedIn profile is surely going to give them a head start over others when they're competing for jobs. The app is very powerful at measuring these soft skills and giving students a qualification, but what's also amazing is that they get to use this app for life. It will enable them to continue reviewing their own patterns of behaviour, so for example when they're starting at uni, and they'll be able to choose how to act rather than simply react, and learn how to anticipate the challenges of the working world. We want to give you the opportunity to get a feel for the course and its resources for yourself. So following this webinar, I'll be emailing links to 3 sample lessons across the 3 pathways. And so you'll have free access to all the resources for lessons 1, 6, and 8. So in light of what you've just heard, what are the next steps? Well, it's very straightforward. If you'd like to access the Teacher Hub to view the training recommendations and perhaps plan inset for those involved well ahead of September, just email your STEER consultant for us to set you up on the USTEER platform. If you'd like greater insight into the app and to your own steering cognition, we can set you up with a USTEER account. We have over 60 schools who've already taken up this offer, and some have found it so enlightening that they are running insets for their whole staff. To gain greater insight into the course resources, I mentioned to you I will be emailing you sample ones. Do take time to review those. And students usually are very interested in seeing their steering. And this course enables them to develop the kind of self-awareness which employers look for. So I hope I've been able to give you a clear insight into the course and the benefits of it to your students and how you'll be able to access it as a STEER school, and that you can see it becoming part of your sixth form curriculum. I've purposely left a few minutes for questions. I should have said at the start that if you have got a question, please do post it in the Q&A now, and I'll be able to pick that up and share it with our audience and hopefully be able to give you an answer. So if you can think of something that you'd like to ask, please do now, because I'm sure it will be of interest of others listening. So it's in the Q&A panel. There's a question about whether the data is accessible to staff when students are using the USTEER app. USTEER schools will be asking students to take the assessment regularly, and that data will be separate to the data on the USTEER app. There is no link between the app and the STEER platform. The STEER assessments that they take give you the equivalent of the baseline that they will see on the USTEER app. And of course, the additional benefit of the app is that they're taking additional assessments to see how their steering differs to their baseline when they're thinking about perhaps their upcoming exams or an interview they're preparing for, or a relationship with a sibling or a parent. And that data is private to them. Having used the app when I was using STEER in school, I was always pleasantly surprised at how open the students were with sharing their data with me, and we'd look at how their steering differed in different relationships and contexts and discuss it with them, and talk about what they could do to change that and help them set their targets. So the fact that that is private to them is something that we feel is very important, particularly as we're training them to learn how to self-regulate for themselves. And of course, that app is available to them as they go on beyond school. So their username will be their school email address. It's just a username, but that's what's used to register them on the app. Any more questions? Well, as I said before, I hope that has given you a greater insight into the course and how you would access the resources. Very much looking forward to hearing from you, either via a consultant, your STEER consultant, or please do contact me directly. But thank you all very much for taking the time to attend today, and I'll send you that email with links to the lessons. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.